They keep telling us not to worry, that inflation is just temporary, that the experts at the Federal Reserve will fix it. But what if that's the biggest lie in modern economics? Because in America, prices never come back down. They just stop rising as fast, and everyone pretends that's progress. Since the dollar was detached from gold in 1971, it's lost nearly 90% of its purchasing power. A $100 bill back then buys what takes $860 today. The government calls this normal. But let's be honest, if your paycheck buys less every year, what's normal about that? The truth is, inflation in America isn't an accident. It's a feature of the system. For decades, Washington has spent more than it earns. When tax money runs out, it borrows. When borrowing gets expensive, the Federal Reserve steps in and creates money out of thin air to buy that debt. They call it quantitative easing. But let's be clear, it's money printing with better branding. The Fed's balance sheet has exploded from about $400 billion in 1995 to over $7 trillion today. The national debt, from $4 trillion to over $34 trillion. Every dollar created makes every other dollar weaker, including yours. This inflation doesn't hit everyone the same. It's a silent transfer of wealth, from people who work for money to people who own money. Those closest to the faucet, banks, corporations, Wall Street, spend the new dollars before prices rise. Everyone else pays inflated prices later. They call it stimulus, but it's really subsidized inequality. And the media, they'll never tell you that. Instead, they turn inflation into political theater. Republicans blame Democrats for reckless spending. Democrats blame Republicans for corporate greed. But both sides, when in power, do the same thing. They spend, they borrow, they print. Meanwhile, the media keeps viewers glued to outrage and distraction because division drives ratings. And while we argue about talking points, the cost of living quietly eats away at our future. But if inflation is the policy, not the problem, who's really in control? Who actually benefits from a system built to make every paycheck worth less, year after year? In part 2 of The Great American Illusion, we're going to follow the money and reveal who's profiting from the destruction of the dollar.